How can you surround yourself with amazing people, amazing business partners, dating, whatever it is? This one factor is probably the biggest factor in determining the success of the next 5-10 years of your life. If you look at Warren Buffett's second richest man in the world, he says the turning point was when he became friends and then later business partners with Charlie Munger. So the question becomes, how do you filter people? Filter to find people compatible with you, with your vision for life and all that stuff. And I was just on a mentor call. I call a mentor almost every day. And I was talking to a guy named Gary Ladowski, who's a professor, and he's an expert on human relationships and like a social scientist. And we were talking about this filter. And he says people place much too little importance on the filtering aspect of relationships. He said most people, when it comes to love, it's like random. It's like, oh, I was at a party, I met this friend of a friend, and they were cute, and boom, now we're in a relationship. Well, that's great for the short term. And same with business partners. I'm like, how'd you become business partners with this person? Oh, I was at a business networking thing, they seemed cool, and boom, next thing you knew, we signed a partnership agreement, we're in business, and then 5 years later or 5 months later, it turned out to disaster. They stole money from me, Ty. Like, I get these stories all the time. And so you must have a filter. And the question becomes, like, what is the filter? What is the filtration process? And I have many ways that I filter who I potentially become friends with or dating, or especially in business, since money's on the line, where people get a little crazier. And it's a long process. I won't put it all in this video. For those of you in my VIP program, I have a paid program, kind of like where I share what my mentors are teaching me. I'll go a little more in depth, but let me give you one thing now, like a nugget here to walk away with. One of the simplest ways and really most effective ways is just ask people. And I know people will be like, but Ty, people who are bad people won't tell you. Oh, that's not what scientists have found. Like, people, and even Gary Ladowski on this mentor call I just got off with, where he's mentoring me, he said, listen, Ty, we acclimate to what we think is normal. So like a criminal or a person who's going to be a horrible business partner, over time they convince themselves that they are normal. So when you ask them questions point blank, like, are you going to be a good business partner? Are you easy to get along with? Sometimes they'll laugh and be like, well, my last business partnership, we ended up hating each other and going to court to divide up the company. Like, people will tell you. And so the simplest way to start as you become better at reading people and better at building a powerful social circle in friends, business, and romance is point blank ask people, investigate a little bit. Not to the point of being intrusive or annoying, but if you go on a date with somebody, be like, how was your best relationship? What happened on your worst relationship? If they say, well, they ended up getting a restraining order against me. Well, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's signs, it'll usually happen again. Not always. You don't want to be too judgmental. You want to give people a chance, but man, you got one life. Do you want to spend your whole life giving people with low probability chances of being easy to get along with a second chance? You can be doing that till you can be 80 years old before you find someone good. So at some level, when I meet people, business partnerships, I'll just be like, have all your business partnerships in the past been good? And if they tell you, oh yeah, they've been great, we sold a business together, we made money, we're all friends, then that registers as a positive filter. Like, I want to filter them in towards me. If they tell you a nightmare story, filter away. And so often we're they call it commitment consistency bias. It's a psychological bias that we have, one of the 25 psychological cognitive biases, where it's called commitment consistency bias. We say to ourselves, I like this person because of some random factor, and then so we commit to them, and then we don't listen to the signs that they tell us. Listen to the signs. People are easier to read than you think. Trust me. There's more advanced ways. You can use hexaco tests and dark triad tests and dark pentad tests, and you can use the big 5 of compatibilities and Myers-Briggs. You can go deeper and deeper, and I'll talk more and more about this over in some time in some of my videos. But start with the simplest. That's called Occam's razor. When in doubt, use the simplest methodology. It's kind of like losing weight. It's like, when in doubt and you don't know what to do, should you go on a high protein diet? Should you do fasted cardio? Should you do this, fat burner? Start with the simplest stuff. Cut out processed food and move physically an hour a day. You start with that, that's going to get you pretty far. Then over time, you can refine down the process and get more powerful. Same way with reading people. You can get into very complex things, very, you know, understanding conditional dependence of personality types and this, and understanding 16 factors, and understanding, you know, honesty, humility, extroversion, introversion, sensing versus perceiving, all those. But you can get far without knowing any of those, by just knowing, let me ask people. And people, 9 times out of 10, sometimes people will trick you, but 9 times out of 10, they will reveal themselves just through some simple questions that you can have over dinner, over coffee, over a quick conversation. So leave me a comment below. Let's say you were gonna be my business partner. Tell me your past experience working with other people in business, good or bad. Let's do a little survey here. Talk to you soon.